Hello, welcome to the Cal Travel Store implementation and QuickBook demo. I'm Kelly May,
And I'm Tasha Wilson.
and we're here with the Department of General Services statewide travel program. Thank you for joining us today. Today's webinar will include a brief overview of the new single travel agency concept and a demonstration of the online booking tool QuickBook. As you are aware, the state is in a fiscal crisis, and the Department of General Services is charged with ensuring that when state employees travel on state business, they do so in the most cost-effective manner. The DGS believes that by utilizing a single travel agency, we can achieve this goal by reducing travel costs while also providing consistency and transparency. The DGS will be able to provide government travelers with a one-stop shop for routine travel arrangements, which include hotel accommodations, rail reservations, shuttle arrangements, rental cars, airline reservations, as well as international and group travel. First, we're going to provide you a little background on the history of the statewide travel program. In 2002, the state had 157 travel agencies. We dwindled that number down to 22 travel agencies, and now we have one travel agency for the state of California that is authorized to provide travel services. We went out to bid in January 2010 for an RFP for a travel management service provider, which resulted in a contract, one travel agency, Travel Store. Travel Store is formerly known as Patterson Travel. Travel Store has been doing business with the state for over 22 years. They pride itself in excellent customer service and have provided travel services to many state agencies for the last 25 years. We also have an on-site branch located at the Ziggurat. We have 6 travel agents and 1 on-site travel manager that is available to assist for full service reservation needs. We also have a 2-year contract agreement effective April 2010 through April 2012. We do have the option to renew this contract for 3 additional 1-year terms. For those of you that are wondering why we decided to do this, was we received feedback from our 2009 Travel Green Conference trade show, as well as numerous meetings and travel forums that the state has put on. We received comments about best practices, time savings, money savings, a one-stop shop, a place where you could book all your travel, and to make the travel arrangement process more centralized and easier. We also received recommendations from the Little Hoover Commission and the California Performance Review. They were looking to centrally manage their travel expenditures for air, car, hotel, and to avoid incurring costs that were higher than necessary. We were also looking to provide consistency, accountability, transparency, and reducing costs by establishing one travel management service provider. As you see today with the technology out there with our BlackBerries and iPhones, we are looking to provide an end-to-end system that includes expense, online travel booking, and other automated process for its government travelers. We're actually working with State Controller's Office and CalAiders to provide an end-to-end solution, so the minute you book your trip all the way through the end, through the travel reimbursement process. This new initiative, this process, has 2 different phases. The first phase is state departments will continue to use SWABIZ. SWABIZ is the online booking tool. It's a portal for Southwest Airlines. Departments will continue to use SWABIZ, and all other airlines, such as our contracted rates with United, JetBlue, Virgin America, and Alaska, will be booked via the QuickBook website. The QuickBook website will also be used to book car reservations and lodging reservations. Phase 2, we're anticipating for early next year, 2011, where SWABIZ will be incorporated into QuickBook, and you'll be able to view all your airlines in one location. So some of the benefits of the QuickBook online booking tool and Travel Store is the one-stop shop. We have numerous travelers who can spend anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour trying to find a hotel in a particular area, find a state contracted fare, and go through the entire booking process. So we wanted to have one central location where travelers could go for all their travel needs. This another benefit is it will provide cost savings for the state of California. The program allows for an enforceable travel policy environment. So throughout the ClickBook site, you will see per diems for lodging. You will see all of our contracted rates and fares for airlines. You will find the contracted rates for Enterprise and your other car rental vendors. And so the site allows for an enforceable policy environment. There's also the emergency travel accommodations. Travel Store will provide a 24-hour after-hours service for travelers. So if you do not have access to the internet and you are stranded or you need to make a change to your ticket, you can call in after 5 o'clock and speak with a live agent who will assist you with your travel reservation. Travel Store is also providing iBank reporting. iBank is an online reporting tool with over 120 standard reports. You can access travel data and monitor your travel spends, and a big portion of it will come with the reconciliation process for accounting to be able to reconcile the American Express BTA statements. iBank also offers a traveler 24/7 ID report. This report is great, so if you're ever happened to be on a plane that had to land in the Hudson River, or there was an earthquake in Southern California, you could go online and print a report and find out where exactly your travelers are at any time. So we have immediate access to the location of all of our travelers if there did happen to be an emergency or natural disaster. ClickBook also is able to report the carbon emissions for airlines. So once you see, as we get into the demonstration, you'll be able to see the carbon emissions emitted, your greenhouse gas emissions emitted into the environment once you take that flight from Sacramento to LA or LA to Sacramento. We do have some departments that actually have to report their carbon emissions before they're even approved to travel. So we find that is a great nuance to the state to have that data. There's also various maps for hotels, for the airport, and driving directions, so you don't have to go to separate websites to get that information. This is the new official travel portal for the state of California. So if you are a travel coordinator or you are a traveler, this is the website that you will be going to book all travel for government business. So as we go into this link, we'll walk you through the website a little bit. We do have our home page here, which provides some information about the statewide travel program and those entities that are invited to participate, with our website listed below. There is a tab on Travel Store. As mentioned, Travel Store does have on-site agents that are available 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. And here we have listed the 6 travel agents and the manager, Colin. And then all the way at the bottom, you'll find the main telephone number. That's the main telephone number you would call in if you did need to speak with an agent. Then we have some information on Department of General Services, again, some of the benefits of why we are doing this, and our contact information listed below. Then we have a tab on some helpful travel links. We are trying to create a website where you have all your resources available to you. So prior to booking your trip, you may need to fill out an excess lodging form, or you know you're going to rent an oversized vehicle. So we have the car rental justification form. We also have the hotel transient occupancy tax form. Then there's other links for our travel program, DPA, and CalAiders. Then we have some other neat travel links further to the bottom on airport maps, parking, checking in online, passport information, all your TSA requirements, and other travel policies. As you'll see all the way onto the right, you have a few different logins. You have a ClickBook login. Again, ClickBook is where you're going to book non-Southwest or non-SWABIZ reservations, car rental, and lodging. And if you are booking SWABIZ, we have the link that will take you directly to swabiz.com. And then we have the iBank login for the reporting, and this will be access for program administrators and accounting staff. We also have a ClickBook travel how-to guide. It's a PDF version. This will actually walk you through how to set up your profile and book a reservation. If you did get stuck in the process or needed some assistance, you can view this guide. It will help you with that. So for this demonstration, we're going to log into ClickBook. Now your username is going to be your state of California email address, and you will assign yourself a password once your department receives your link to go online and set up your profile. We are working with all of your department travel coordinators or your accounting manager for your department to get each department or office or board set up. So if you have any questions, of course, feel free to call us, or you can also work with that individual and see where you are at in the process. So I'm going to turn it over to Tasha, and she's going to begin to walk you through how to set up your profile.
Hello everyone, thank you very much for joining us. The first thing we're going to do is pop into your profile, and we'll make sure that all your preferences are set up. So you will notice there are quite a few fields in the profile, but don't be overwhelmed by the amount of figures to fill out. What you'll actually be looking for are anything that says they're required. So you can pretty much enter just a few basic fields to get your profile going. The first fields that you'll need to have in is your first, middle, and last name. Make sure this information matches what you have on your driver's license or whatever ID you use at the airport. Next, you can input company information. You can put information on your work address as well as your home address, but you will notice none of those fields are a requirement. Once you reach the contact information fields, you'll notice that you have some required fields. First, we need 2 phone numbers. So we have a work phone number required and a home phone number required. If you don't have a home number, or you won't want to use your home number, you can put your cell phone number in this field. But we will need 2. Next is a contact email address. This is where your email address goes. However, if you'd like your information sent normally to a supervisor or assistant, or if you want your itineraries automatically sent home, you can enter up to 3 email addresses. You will notice at the bottom of each section there's a save button, so make sure if you make any changes that you are saving that information. The next fields for you to complete are your emergency contact information. These are not a required field, however we do feel it's very important. As Kelly mentioned earlier, if you happen to be on that plane that landed in the Hudson and we received information that you were out there, we would want to notify your emergency contact, and this is where we'll go to find that information. Okay, so now we're on travel preferences. I do want to mention that ClickBook will automatically go out and search for our government fares. However, if you're a member of AAA or AARP and you want it to search for some additional discounts where there might be a hotel that doesn't have a state rate, but maybe they have a AAA rate that's below the per diem, it will search for those fares as well. Next, if you're not flying Southwest, you do get to choose your seat. So you can put in preferences if you would like to always be by the aisle or the window, or if you always want to be in the front or the bulkhead or the rear of the plane. Also, if you don't care, you can just mark that. Not many planes are supplying meals for us anymore, but there is a place where you can put dietary restrictions if you happen to be on a plane that provides a meal. There's nowhere to mark that you just want peanuts, so don't worry about that. Those will be supplied. This is kind of a neat field for people that fly out of the same airport most of the time. It's your preferred departure airport. So I fly out of Sacramento 99.9% of the time. I could populate that and say that I wanted that to be my preferred departure airport, and it would pre-populate that in my search. It just saves you an extra step. You can type over that if necessary. We all say, now we're on our hotel preferences, and you can indicate if you'd want a king bed or a queen, or if you always want non-smoking. Also, we all say we're going to work out every time we're traveling, so we might want to make sure we have a gym, or if you're traveling alone and not comfortable going out in the evenings but want to make sure there's a place for you to get dinner, you can mark that you'd like the hotel to have a restaurant or room service. Also, for accessibility needs, if you need wheelchair access or blind accessibility, just mark the boxes here. Our car rental preferences, we are going to still stay with the state rules, but if you know you always want the intermediate car or the compact, you can mark that there if you always want non-smoking. and so forth. You can also mark automatic or manual. This is the frequent traveler program section. So if you want to preload all of your frequent traveler program cards, you can do so by marking the Add a Program button. If you have a car or a rail frequent traveler number, you would click this button. If it's a car program, you'd mark this one, and if it's a hotel program, you'd mark the one that looks like a bed. Click on the arrow and it'll give you all the names of the hotel programs. You would just choose the one that you wanted to put the number in and then just type your number in. And you can add as many of those as you need, and then you're just going to hit save and it'll add it to your profile. I didn't have a number, so it wasn't letting me do that. This will ensure that anytime you're flying or you're staying at hotels that you have programs, it'll automatically put those into, you'll receive your points for those. All right, if you stay in a hotel that was one of your favorites and you want to make sure you remember where that was, if it's in a large area like Los Angeles and you stayed at an Embassy Suites, but there might be several of those in the Los Angeles area, you can add that as a favorite hotel and that'll bring that up when you're searching. For TSA secure flight information, this is information that's required by the airline, so you are required to put in your gender and your date of birth. There's also a section for international travel, so I know there's not a lot of international travel going on right now, but if you are a department that does travel internationally, you can put your passport information in this section. Okay, if you have someone that books all of your travel, you're going to want to pay close attention to this section. If you want to set someone up to book travel for you, you click on Add an Assistant. Now it's going to bring up a search field. This kind of works like Outlook in that anyone that's been loaded into the system for your department will be in this section. You can search by their last name or their email address. We're going to search by their name, and it'll just go out and search for this person and bring them up. So I want to assign Kelly to be able to book travel for me, so I'm going to mark this button. But I also want her to have access to my profile in case I need her to change some of my preferences. So I'm actually going to assign her as my primary assistant for travel. If you just want someone to be able to book travel for you, you could just mark the first button. They will not be able to be assigned as your primary assistant unless they have a work phone number in their profile, so make sure all of your travel arrangers go in and set up their profile. Now, Kelly is listed as my primary travel assistant, and she can book travel for me. If you need to change that at any time, you just go back into your profile. You can have as many people in this section as you need. So if there are people who handle it, but also you have backups, you can add anyone that would be booking travel for you. The last section is your credit card information, and your hotel will be billed to your personal credit card, but air and car are billed to your BTA, or your business traveler account. The credit card that you put in here is just used to hold the account or to hold your reservation, and when you go to the hotel they'll ask to see the card, and at that time if you want to change the card or pay by cash, that's when you'd do it. To add a credit card, you'd click on the Add a Credit Card button and enter your information. As you can see, all the numbers are blocked except for the last 4 digits, so this is a secure information and no one will be able to see those other than you, even someone that has access to your profile. And then again, you only want to have to do this once, so make sure you hit the Save button. Okay, and that's it for arranging your profile, setting up your profile. And again, anytime you need to make changes to that, you'll just log into the profile section and make any necessary changes. So now we're going to walk through actually booking a trip. And if you want to just book a car or a hotel, you can click on the tabs here. But we're going to walk through an entire trip. So we're going to start with flight. The system can be used to book round trip, one way, or multi-segment. So if you were flying into LAX but you wanted to fly out of Burbank, you could do that by doing multi-segment and putting both cities in. We're going to go round trip. This is the departure city, so this is the field that would be pre-populated had I entered that into my profile. You can type the airport code or the city that you're that you're flying out of, and it'll bring up the airport code for you. So I'm going to fly out of Sacramento, and I'm going to fly into Los Angeles. As you can see, I started to type Los Angeles, but it brought up all of the airports in the Los Angeles area, so you'd actually have your selection of airports. We're going to choose LAX. For your departure date, you just click on the departure field, and it'll bring up a calendar. Indicate which day you want to fly out. You can choose your time based on the departure time or the time you want to arrive. Most people use departure. And you can select your time or morning, afternoon, or evening. I'm going to choose 7 a.m., but I do have a little bit of play with that schedule. So I am going to ask it to search for any flights that are at 7 o'clock or 2 hours before 7 or 2 hours after 7. So it'll give me a window of different flight availability. My return automatically pre-populates for the next day, but if I was staying more than one day, I would just click on the box and it would bring up another calendar for me. We're going to stick with the next day. For our return flight, we're going to still do the departure time. And I'd like to fly back around 4, but again, I have a little bit of flexibility. You can choose anywhere up to 9 hours before or after the time you've selected, but I want to limit my search a little bit, so I'm going to just choose 2. I'm going to mark this box because I'd like to pick up and drop off my car rental at the airport, and I'd also like to find a hotel. Now it's going to give me a couple of options for finding a hotel. I'm going to choose to find a hotel within 5 miles of the airport. However, you could enter an address if you had a meeting and have it search within 5 miles of the address you enter. Or if you have some company locations, you can get those preloaded into the system so you were able to choose a satellite office. Or if you just have a zip code or a reference point like Statue of Liberty, you could put that in this section and search within 5 miles of that. We're going to stick with the airport. It's going to pre-populate our airport field to the airport we're arriving in, which is LAX. And if I wanted to search for a specific hotel, say a Marriott or a Hilton or any other hotel, I could search by checking the box and then typing what name I was looking for in here. But we'd like to get a good selection, so we're going to leave that blank. I only want a refundable airfare, and I'd like to search for my flights based on price. So that's it. You've put in all the information you need for your entire trip. What the system's going to do now is go out and it's going to look for the first thing I was reserving, which is my airfare. It's going to give me a couple of different options. It's going to display it in a grid for me. And if you'll notice, there is a standby message, so if you accidentally close this, you will be able to go back to the trip without starting over. Okay, so it's pulled up my airfare, all of my choices. They're all listed right here in this grid for me. As you can see, we got 3 results for nonstop, 34 results for 1 stop, and 14 results for 2 stops. Well, since we're only flying to LAX, we definitely do not want any 1 stop or 2 stops. So we're going to click on the nonstop results, and that's going to sort those for me. Okay, so now you can scroll down and you can take a look at what your options are based on the information you put in. It's saying there's a 2/18/40 United flight, July 20th at 6 a.m. I'm going to arrive at 7:25 a.m. There are 0 stops, and it's a 1 hour and 25-minute flight. And here are the carbon emissions Kelly had talked about earlier, and the class that I'm flying on is economy. I do want to point out here, we have baggage fee policies, so if you want to double check and see with United how much your bags are going to cost, if you have to check them, it's $25 for the first bag and $35 for the second. And this gives you all the different airlines. All right, so there's a little button over here. It kind of looks like a car seat. And this, again, is because you do get to choose where you want to sit on other flights besides Southwest. So if you go into this, the available seats are green. I'd like to sit in this seat. And here I am in my plane, all nice and happy, ready for my trip. I hit select the seat, and it saves that seat for me. Close out the seat map, and as you can see, the seat has turned green, which means I have selected this. If you do forget to choose your seat, don't worry, we won't make you fly on the wing that will assign you a seat automatically. Okay, on my way back, I'm going to sit in this seat. There I am again, happier because I'm on my way home. Select the seat and close out the map. Now you can see both going and coming, my seats are green, which means I have seats reserved. These are some yellow diamonds next to the amount, which means it's a state of California fare and that the ticket is refundable. So this is a good flight for us to take, so we're going to go ahead and hit reserve. This field will not come up because this will be automatically billed to your BTA. And now it's going to go out and make our reservations for our flight, and it's going to work on putting my car rental options together. Since we are the state of California, we're going to follow the contracts, which means that Enterprise is our primary vendor, and we do have secondary contracts for National and Alamo. However, we need to use Enterprise first. So when your options come up, you're actually only going to see Enterprise, or if your department has chosen to, you may receive Enterprise and Alamo and National. Enterprise isn't loaded into this demo site, but this is how the results will come up. It'll give you a grid of what's available. It does mention at the top that the car reservation for vehicles exceeding the $39.49 full-size car rate require submission of the justification for rental car exceptions form, and that form can be located on that first screen where Kelly was demonstrating the different form locations. So we're going to take this national flight, the car rental, and because it's 3502, it's got a yellow diamond, so we know it's a state rate. I do want to mention on the right side, if you need to make adjustments at this time, you don't have to go all the way back out to that beginning screen. You can make changes to the date, the drop-off, where you want to pick your car up, the airport, and this is a nice button because you can actually mark if you want to return your car to another location. Usually you have to remember to tell the people when you go to pick up your car that this will make it automatic, and you can enter where you're going to drop it off. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and reserve this car. I just want to point out here the e-receipt. If you sign up to receive e-receipts, then anyone who offers a receipt to be automatically emailed you once you turn in the car or check out of the hotel, you'll get those automatically emailed to you. All right, so now it's reserving my car, and it's going to go out and it's going to pick up all my hotel options. And those will be based on my preferences that I put in according to how far I wanted it to be within the airport. Okay. All right. So now we're going to scroll through our hotel choices. One of the hotels that I had loaded in as a favorite was the Embassy Suites in Los Angeles. And here it shows you the little F, which means it's a favorites. Currently, it's at $209.99 per night because it's for a suite, so we're going to scroll right over that because it's not within state per diem. But it's going to start bringing up hotels now that are within 5 miles of the airport. So you can start scrolling down. Some of the hotels have pictures in, some of them have visual tours. There's also this rating system over here, 1 through 4 stars. So I'm going to keep scrolling down. Here's a 3-star. It's only 0.87 miles from the airport. It's a Radisson. Looks pretty nice in the pictures. It's got a sleep number bed, special rate for government employees, ID required. So I like the looks of this one, but I'm not quite sure because I haven't seen everything yet. So I'm going to hit this button that says compare, and it's going to shoot that to the top of my page so I can keep scrolling down without losing track of where I'm at and go back and look at my comparable hotels when I'm finished. In this section here, you'll note that we have some information on the hotel per diem for California. It mentions that the hotel per diem is $84, and it does give you the exception counties of San Francisco, San Mateo, Santa Clara, Alameda are all $140, LA and San Diego are $110, and it tells you the form you're going to need, the 255C. That'll be required if you do exceed the per diem. Again, that form can be located in the forms section and on the first screen. So here's the Crown Plaza. This one looks pretty nice. It's got a nice pool. I can get an e-receipt there. Again, 3 stars. It's only 1.18 miles from the airport. That one looks pretty good too, so I'm going to hit compare on that. And finally, I will compare this Marriott. So now it's shot a couple of my selections to the top, so I'm going to scroll back up. The Radisson was my first I wanted to compare. So I want to just jump into the info box, and this is going to give you all the information on the hotel. 3 stars, a description of the hotel, general room information, directions, attractions, anything the hotel has provided will be listed in this area. And same thing with any of the other hotels, there's an info button. So anything that's not listed in the section on the hotel, you can go into the info box to find things out. This one's the closest and it's only $99, so I'm going to go ahead and reserve that. I'm going to hit the reserve button, and the first thing it's going to bring up are the cancellation policies and rate details. You want to make sure you read all of this information, especially you want to find out about their cancellation policy. This one's pretty generous. You only have to let them know by 4 p.m. the day of arrival if you're not going to be staying at the hotel. But if you don't call by that time to let them know, you could get a charge of $112.96. So this way all your travelers are notified that they will need to cancel their hotel if they're not taking the trip. Then they mark that they agree to the rules and the restrictions, and they continue. Okay, we chose a hotel that was $99, so that is above the state of California hotel per diem of $84. However, we know this is Los Angeles, so we get $110. So we're going to drop down this reason menu, and we're going to just go straight down to the Los Angeles County per diem is $110. If you had another reason as to why you were choosing above per diem, you could type that out here, and you'll be able to run reports to see if there are any policy violations and find out why people are choosing to stay in above hotel rate hotels. A little bit of visual guilt. It also shows you some hotels here that you could have chosen that were below the per diem rate. You want to hit save and keep moving. All right, so you've put your credit card information in because you want to hold this hotel with it. You can put any number of hotels in that section, and then if you had more than one, you'd click on the arrow if you wanted to choose from the credit cards you wanted to use to hold this hotel room. Your credit card will not be billed until after you check out of the hotel, but this is just to hold your reservation. All right, so I'm going to tell it to reserve the hotel. And now that's pretty much it. We've done all the selections for our air, car, and hotel, and now it's going to go out, make my hotel reservation, and print up my itinerary so I can take a look at it. I was telling you earlier about the standby page, saying if you accidentally close it, you can find a link to that trip off your travel page under the name Unfinished Reservations. So that'll show up for you. If you accidentally were to exit right here, you wouldn't have to start over again. This field that pops up is regarding taxi travel at the airport. So if you hadn't chosen a car and you wanted to schedule your taxi from the airport, you could do so here by viewing ground transportation options. However, we're not going to use ground transportation because we've rented a car, so I'm just going to X out of there. Here's my itinerary. It's got the name of the person traveling, when it was created, this trip record locator number, and a total estimate for the trip. It's also letting me know that no frequent flyer programs were used on this trip. So if you wanted to change that information and add a frequent flyer program, you could do so from here. It has information on my flight, that it's confirmed that there's no meal served. It's got our CO2 emissions, tells you the duration, and again, it has the record number. Gives you your seat number. If at this point you wanted to change the seat, you could do so by pressing the button here. For car rentals, it gives you your confirmation number and information on the car type. At this point, if you needed to cancel this car or change the date, you could do so from this field. Then it gives you your information on your hotel, the address, the reservation time, what the rate is, that it's been confirmed. It gives you your cancellation policy again, your confirmation number if you need that, and when you're supposed to check out. It has information on your flight home. Again, the duration, your seat you can change again if you need to change this part of the flight. It's got everything you'll need right on this one page. So at this point, it is letting you know that your ticket isn't issued yet for airfare, and the airfare quoted in the itinerary is not guaranteed until the tickets are issued. So we want to go to the next screen. You can actually name your trip. So I'm going to say this is my trip from Sacramento to Los Angeles, and this is going to be for QuickBook training. And now I'll be able to remember what this trip is, so when I store it in my trip library, if I needed to find it again, this will help me remember. At this point, if I wanted to send the confirmation to my supervisor or an assistant or a coworker who was traveling with me, I could do so by putting their email address in here. If I wanted to include directions to the hotel or hotels and directions and maps, I could mark this here, and then when it emails me my itinerary, the directions and the maps could be included. These fields are for payment, so it's your index and PCA code. Your department might call these something different, and if they do, those will be labeled accordingly. Okay, my airline tickets are on hold, and it's going to hold these until 7/2 at 5:30 p.m. So I'm going to mark I want to hold the trip because I'm actually not traveling to Los Angeles next week. And it's saving my trip. This is telling me I'm finished. And again, it's telling me that this is going to be canceled automatically if I don't book this trip by July 2nd. So here's your itinerary again. From this page, you can print the itinerary, you can email it to someone else, or we're going to return to the travel center. Now you can see in the travel center I have a trip that's on hold, and again it's warning me that it'll automatically be canceled and the date of that. If you click on the trip in the blue field, you can actually from this screen finish or complete the trip reservations. I can cancel the trip. I can clone the trip. So if I am a travel arranger and I want to schedule the same trip for 20 different people, I could click on clone the trip and, sorry about that, click on clone the trip and make these same reservations for more people. If I wanted to share the trip because I wanted Kelly to travel with me, I could click on share the trip, click on Kelly's name, so this will be anyone I'm allowed to that's loaded in the system, and I will hit search, and it's going to go out and share the trip with her. She's going to get a notification in her email that I have shared a trip with her, and she'll be able to go in and book the same trip. All right, so here's the trip library I talked about. Any of your trips are going to automatically put in your trip library, so you can go in and you can research the trip if you need to find some information on receipts. You can go into this area and get information on it. Again, this one's on hold, so it's allowing me again to do those actions like finishing or canceling the trip. All right, earlier I showed you in your profile where to add your travel arranger. So you can see that I have been set up to arrange travel for myself or for Kelly May. So if I had made my reservations and now I wanted to make them for Kelly, I would click on Kelly's name and I could go in and make these reservations. Earlier I sent Kelly an invitation to share the trip with me, the template, so she can go in there and view the trip, book a copy of the trip, or if she did not want to travel with me, she could hide the trip so she wouldn't have to deal with it. There's also a place for templates, so if you travel to the same location once a month and you like to use the same flight and the same hotel and you always rent a car, you can set that up as a template and then you can continue to use that trip. All right. So now we're going to ask for any questions and see what's out there.
All right, well, we wanted to thank you very much for joining us today. We think this is a great tool that you will all absolutely love. We do want to remind you that on our webpage at www.travel.dgs.ca.gov, under the What's New section, you can find upcoming trainings that will be located throughout California. If you would like to attend a live demonstration or invite any other individuals in your office to attend. Again, thank you very much.